Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope you're going to have a fantastic day today. I know that I will. I plan on it. I am Karina, your host and the creator of this podcast, which is Stroke Surviving the Odds. Here I'll be sharing all the different aspects that have been affected by my stroke in the last 22 years. Good and bad. I also decided that I am going to be free-flowing with you guys. I do not have anything scripted. I simply talk as if we're having a coffee together in your living room. So that's what's going to happen. I have to mention that I'm a little bit nervous. I don't get nervous very easily, but having such a platform and having hopefully so many people hearing my voice and hearing what I have to say is both very flattering, but also nerve-wracking. In today's episode, I thought it would be important for me to introduce myself, seeing that it's the first time that we see each other. I think that you need to know a little bit about me. So here goes. I'm also not a very technical person. At all. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm scared of the beast machine. So what I decided to try is to record in one shot. And I'm hoping you guys, I'm going to link my Facebook page for my podcast. And I would love it if you guys interacted with me, as in telling me, not a review. I don't want a review, but I want, well, if you want to give it, I'll take it. But I would appreciate, if you gave me your feedback on what you think I'm doing right and what you think I'm doing wrong, and if I should be editing. I want to do something that you guys are going to appreciate and like, and hopefully learn at least one thing out of it. But if I can do something to make that better, I would greatly appreciate your feedback on that one. In today's episode, I'd like to introduce myself formally, give you a little insight on who I am. If you read the description in my trailer, you get a very good idea of who I am and where I come from. And if you did not read it, I urge you to read it. Sometimes it's easier for me to write down things as opposed to saying it, but the emotion is not the same. And I want to be very transparent with you guys. So I will be telling you a little bit about me. First off, I am 47. I am married. I have a 23-year-old daughter. I have two dogs, Tito and Bella, Schnauzer and Maltese, 16 years old and 10 years old. I also love to cook. Cooking is another form of podcasting for me, where I demonstrate my love. And I think the best way to show your love is to really feed the people you love. If that makes any sense. I love to cook. I love art. I love music. I adore writing. Absolutely. That is the biggest outlet. It has been the biggest outlet for me since I could write, I think. I used to be a singer, so singing was also an outlet, but since my stroke, I was intubated I don't exactly remember the amount of weeks, but quite some time, actually. I'll easily say a month. So it damaged my vocal cords, and so I can't sing anymore. I can't hold a tune, but I can't sing. Not in public anyways. Karaoke is great, but you know what I mean. So, where do I begin? I guess it's kind of like walking one foot in front of the other. When you begin a podcast like this, you have to go one episode, one segment at a time, right? But since we decided to do it in one shot, here goes. I suffered a brainstem dissection in March of 1999. I was at the gym. My daughter was 16 months. So I went back to the gym to get back my mommy shape, my beautiful mommy shape, if you will. And I was actually working out to be in the Miss Fitness competition. And I would say 5-6 days a week. I've had a couple of weeks before the section itself, I had some symptoms which I decided to ignore. I thought it was my hormones or I was just overly tired. Those symptoms were, I was often extremely dizzy. I was also seeing stars, like there were black stars everywhere. I've always been a little bit, I won't say hyper because I'm not, but energetic. How about that? It sounds better, energetic. But it seems like I was exhausted all the time. Something was going on. So that morning of March, I went to work out, and I was doing an exercise. I was doing a French press. For those of you who don't know, it is holding the dumbbell from one side above your head, behind your head, above and behind, and it's to work out your triceps. The bottom of the dumbbell, like it banged my neck. That's the only way right now I can describe it. But I immediately felt pain. And I stayed at the gym and I had one more exercise and I could not complete it. I was just lying on my back on the bench and I just couldn't do it. So I went to pick up my stuff at the front desk, and I remember the guy saying, "You're leaving so soon?" And I said, "Yeah, I hurt myself. I'm not feeling good." And at the time, I was living in La Salle, which is like a district, if you will, of Montreal. And our condo was directly across the street from the gym where I was. And I managed to walk from the gym to home and walk the 4 flights of stairs all the way up, but feeling like shit, excuse my English here, but yeah, and I was getting more dizzy. And so I walked in, my husband looks at me, says, "What's wrong?" Like he saw immediately my face, and he was with my daughter at the time. I said, "I'm going to throw up." And I immediately turned over and I went to the bathroom to throw up, but I'm throwing up, and nothing is happening. Nothing is coming out anymore. I have nothing. My stomach is empty. I remember my husband had to go to work. So we called in his niece to babysit, and he told her, he says, Karina's not feeling good. And I'm still in the bathroom and I'm holding the bowl. And I'm actually lying on the floor in the bathroom waiting for the next throw up to come up. Again, nada. So I asked my niece, she was 16 herself at the time, and I said, "Can you bring me to bed and wake me up in 30 minutes? And I'm holding the walls as excuse me, my phone is ringing and it's distracting. Sorry about that. So I'm holding the walls to go to the bedroom, and I tell her to wake me up in 30 minutes, that I'll sleep it off. So I'm lying in the bed. I can see the ceiling. I can see the shapes in front of me. And I can hear her say, "Uncle Peter, I can't wake up Karina. Her eyes are open. She's got foam at the mouth, but I can't wake her up." Poor kid, she must have been like freaking traumatized. Oh, I feel so bad. Anyways, so can you believe it? I heard his voice on the phone freaking out and saying, "Nula, call 911. and I'm drifting, and that's the last thing I hear. The next thing, I wake up in my eyes. I can't talk. I can't say nothing. But I can hear my mother-in-law was at the house. My brother-in-law was at the house waiting for 911 to not leave Nuala by herself. And I could hear them like, Karina, Karina, wake up, wake up. I can't talk. Even if I wanted to, nothing. I wasn't saying a word. Ça marche pas. Nothing happened. Silence. And I drift back. Next thing I know, I am being carried by two ambulance technicians. And my brain is fully functional because I remember I had like a simili granite table in the hallway with a glass top. And I'm thinking, I hope they don't drop me and break my table. That is the thought. And I drift back in my coma. And I don't know how the guys brought me all the way 4 flights of stairs. I would have been scared shitless anyway, so it's a good thing that I was out. And these episodes of waking, like drifting in and out of coma, like it was like a sound sleep. It was like the best sleep I've ever had, and I had the privilege and the chance to wake up. Fuck, I just couldn't talk. Ça va pas bien. And at this point, I can't move anyways if I wanted to. So they bring me to the hospital in LaSalle. I don't know what happened because I was completely comatose at that moment. They couldn't treat me, or they didn't have the necessary professionals maybe to check me out and figure out what was wrong with me. So they transferred me to Verdun Hospital. And over there, again, I'm drifting in and out. I'm lying in like not an operating table, but I'm in a trauma room, okay? And the nurses are turning me on my back. And one nurse is cutting my clothes. And again, I'm thinking, not my good Lulu pants. But anyways, I am thinking that, guys. Okay? So my brain is functioning at this moment. And she's putting the scissors in my clothes. And I remember the other nurse saying, we're going to put a catheter. And I'm just like, whatever. Like, I remember just whatever. And they took off my jewelry. My husband was Greek, so I had a lot of jewelry. Just FYI. So they were taking off my jewelry, and I drifted back into a coma. And the next thing I remember at that moment is I couldn't see anything, but I could hear. I could hear the doctors talking amongst themselves, saying, well, maybe we should do a spinal tap. Now, I'm not a doctor. I know nothing about this, so I'll trust them. Okay, they're the experts. Still confused. I can hear a lot of confusion around. What's wrong with this girl? She's 25. We don't know what's going on. And next thing I hear, because I think I'm being wheeled from one place to another on the floor or in Verdun Hospital. My then a husband was 6'1", okay? And as I'm being wheeled out, my eyes are open, so I do see what's going on. And I see a doctor talking to him and my mom. And he's leaning against the wall. My then husband was leaning against the wall. And I remember hearing the doctor say, we think she had a stroke. And his body just went like crumbling on the ground, like, wow. And my mom repeated that story to me quite a few times. She says she's never seen anyone devastated like that. So, yeah. They finally figured out that I did have a stroke. And so they sent me to the best hospital here in Montreal, which is the Montreal Neurological Hospital. And a lot of people are asking me, but you must have been scared at that time to be able to see, to be able to hear, but you can't move and you can't talk. And my answer has always been, always, it was peaceful. I can't say that I was scared. It was peaceful. I told you before that it felt like I had a very good sleep, right? But that's the way I can describe it. So I was in the ICU for exactly a month and 4 days. So at this point, they transferred me to the hospital, the Montreal Neuro. And I'm lying on my bed behind the curtains in ICU. And I hear I see above my head, and I hear two doctors say, we are going to help you breathe. We're going to intubate you because you're having a hard time. And what the conversation I did hear about that is that they were saying she has a hard time. Look at her. Apparently, when you're gasping for air, your bodies on either side are like squeezing the air out of your lungs. Basically, they're like pumping the lungs. I couldn't do it anymore. And one of the doctors said, Karina, if you understand, blink once. If you don't, blink two. So I blinked once. I understood. Again, my brain is working. So that's what went on, apparently, because I drifted back in La La Land. So it's 4 days I've been in ICU. I don't have, behind the curtains, I don't have a lot of recollection of what went on over there. But they transferred me in one of those rooms in the ICU, those private rooms in ICU. And as they're wheeling me, my tongue is sticking out as if I want to do, like I want to stick out my tongue to faire une grimace, and my tongue is stuck there, like out, sticking out. Like it was, like I can just imagine the image is fucking scary, excuse my language again. I can only imagine. And I remember like they're like, her tongue, and it became very spastic and it was hurting underneath, where those we have like blue veins underneath the tongue, and I have a doctor putting in the tongue suppressor and all that. Anyways, it was a little ordeal. I had to do something special for the doctors that day, I guess, and they put the tongue back in which is very funny to say, but anyways, and now I'm in room M. I remember I'm in room M in the ICU, and I have a beautiful view, and I have a cork board between the windows, and my mom had brought some pictures from home, my wedding pictures and my daughter's pictures. I hope it's okay with you guys. I'm going to resume this in my second part. I'm going to take a break right now. I'm actually feeling very comfortable talking to you guys, and I'm feeling inside right now very nervous, like I'm kind of trembling inside. In 2019, I was asked to write my story for 3 Stromies. Again, I'm gonna link it in my podcast right now. I'm gonna link because I want you guys to read the story. It's quite the lengthy one, so grab a coffee or a glass of wine or something. But yeah, so I felt that took a lot of energy out of me to write that article. I had to, and right now I'm feeling a little bit tired. emotionally, so I hope it's okay. I am going to split like a banana, and I definitely can't wait to talk to you guys next time and continue my lovely story. But I hope that you got a little insight on me and you know me a little better. And again, I want to thank you. And if there is one thing that I've always said, no, let me take this back. Within every single thing that I am going to be talking about, that I will be more animated about, but now I'm very serious because I'm digging deep. But within everything, if there is one person that I can help make feel better about themselves, my job is done. I'm going to be so happy. So I'm going to let you go now. I love you. Remember, it could always be worse. One step at a time, one breath at a time. Everything is going to work out for your highest good. You have to believe that, okay? Take my word for it. Okay, so I'm leaving, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.